All right, guys, we're back. It's Let the People Decide. I'm Moto. Let's talk about World War III. It's been heating up for a while, and all of the neocons and the war hawks in President Trump's cabinet are chomping at the bit for all-out warfare with Iran. We've seen a lot of attacks or events or what the U.S. would call provocations in the Strait of Hormuz lately. You might recall May 12th, there were Norwegian, Saudi, and UAE vessels that were attacked. And then again on June 13th, we actually had some grainy video from U.S. intelligence, though, of Iranian Republican Guard boats removing an unexploded mine from one of the tankers that they attacked. Very odd attack if you're trying to sink oil tankers. You would think that they would plant those mines below the waterline, but in any case, lots of smoke, couple holes in some boats, big statement and rhetoric from the U.S. State Department and the National Security Advisor, but ultimately what this boils down to is a proxy conflict between Saudi Arabia and Iran. So they're competing petrol powers in the Persian Gulf. Now, Saudi Arabia and Iran are the only ones that can ship their oil out without the Strait of Hormuz in that area, as they both have alternate access. But about 30% of the world's oil supply goes through the Strait of Hormuz. So these types of things play all kinds of havoc on your markets and the prices of a barrel of oil. Certain countries don't know if they're even going to be able to get the shipments that they're ordering in. I saw, actually, I think it might have been another British tanker was going to pick up oil, and actually the order got canceled. So then they were just kind of floating out there in the middle of the Persian Gulf with no oil to get and no word on what was going to happen militarily. So we're watching this go back and forth. And then on the 4th of July, we saw there was an Iranian tanker, not in the Persian Gulf, but in Gibraltar, a British colony. And it was bound for Syria, but at the urging of the U.S. government, the U.K. seized this tanker. Now, the Iranians are kind of hysterical with this. That due to the name of the tanker, it was called Grace 1. The implication being that the gracious Iranians are sending oil to the Syrians to help in their efforts against ISIS and radical Wahhabists and Israel and the United States and Turkey. Syria is still a hotbed, folks. I know it's not in the news, but that is still probably the most active geopolitical spot on earth right now. If somebody tells you Venezuela, if somebody tells you Iran, so be it. But all of these powers, Russia, the United States, Iran, Israel, were all in this sandbox in Syria. And it's muddy water because you've got countries like Turkey that are traditionally NATO countries and allies of the United States, but very much at odds with our interest in northern Syria with the Kurds. So very interesting situation. But after this latest incident, I'll read from an RT article here. The UK has confirmed reports that its warships stopped Iranian patrol boats from blocking a British tanker that was sailing through the Strait of Hormuz. Iran says these claims are absolutely worthless. Apparently, the Royal Navy frigate HMS Montrose had to position itself between the British vessel British Heritage and the Iranian Republican Guard boats that were attempting to divert it away or out of international waters and into Iranian territory. Of course, at which time I'm sure they would have seized the vessel tit for tat for seizing their tanker going through Gibraltar. But immediately after that, yesterday, the Gibraltar police arrested the Iranian captain of the Grace 1 also. So it looks like we're going into hostage situations as well as seizing assets and vessels. It's only a matter of time. You can only have so many $130 million drones shot down and have so many boats get seized and so many spectacles that are in the public eye before one of these dogs is not going to be able to back down from the fight. So we might be looking at the genesis of World War III based on this petrodollar conflict happening in the Strait of Hormuz. I hope that's not the case. I don't want war. I voted for President Trump to stop conflicts all over the globe. So I'm not interested in going to war in Venezuela. I'm not interested in being in Syria any longer. I'm not interested in going to war with Iran. I'm definitely not interested in war with Russia. So thus far, I'm very happy to say that President Trump has resisted the advice of his military neocon warhawks, even firing legendary Marine Corps General Mad Dog Mattis because he would not quit pushing for war in Syria. You're fired. And thank you, President Trump, for that decision. I support it 100% as a Marine Corps veteran myself. So, all right, that's what's going on right now. The Iranians are denying that any of this happened, but the British military has confirmed it. So, all right, we are going to talk about some more international stuff coming up, as well as some domestic stuff. We got word that the ICE raids are supposed to begin this Sunday, so a lot of liberal think tanks and Democrat candidates gearing up to message the narrative that Donald Trump is Hitler and he's in charge of the country and we need to impeach him. And yet somehow in the very next breath, they're going to also say that they need to take away your guns and make sure that only the police and the military have them. So cognitive dissonance rampant on the left. My body, my choice until it comes to vaccines. But I don't want to get kicked off Facebook, so we won't talk about anything non-vaxxer. We're all good little minions and followers around here. Poke me as many times as you need to. All right, we'll be back from the break. You guys don't go anywhere.